Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm doing a video that I'm very excited for, and if you can't tell by my background, by my ensemble, or by my mug, I'm going to be doing the Disney tag today. Nobody has tagged me to do this video, but I saw Jessica Braun do it a while ago and I really wanted to do it, and I thought this was a pretty good time, having recently been to Disney, but also in honor of the new movie that's coming out on March 17th, which for those of you who don't know, I don't know what you've been doing, but it's Beauty and the Beast live action with Emma Watson as Belle, and it does come out on March 17th. I've already bought my tickets for March 18th, and I don't think I've ever been so excited for a movie because I've known about it for about 2 years now. I think I first heard when they announced it in pre-production, so needless to say, I'm very excited. So because of all these reasons, I thought it a good time for me to record the Disney tag for you. So I thought I'd try to make it as Disney themed as possible. I'm just going to read the questions off of my phone, but before I get into that, make sure that if you are not subscribed already, you go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also be sure to click the notification bell so you'll be notified every time that I upload a new video. And if you have any requests for future videos that you'd like to see, definitely let me know that in the comments. If you haven't seen my Disney vlogs yet, I will link my vlog playlist below for you, as well as in the cards, and I may also try to individually link each Disney vlog for you so that you can be sure and check those out. But now let's get into the Disney tag questions. I briefly glanced at them but did not read them in depth, so hopefully my answers will be a bit of a surprise to all of us. And I tag anyone else who makes videos and would like to do this tag to do it as well, especially you fellow Disney lovers out there. That is a tough one because, and I may say that about a lot of these questions, but there are a lot of wonderful scenes in Disney movies, but I have to go with the one that first came to mind, and that would have to be the ballroom scene in Beauty and the Beast when they're dancing and she's in her yellow dress and he's dressed all nice and fancy, because one, I think the ballroom is amazing, and if you have not been to Be Our Guest in Walt Disney World, I would highly recommend it because it is very much like the movie. I cried when I first saw it because it was like stepping into the movie, so I would have to choose that scene just because it's a happy and magical scene, as well as I think it's kind of one of those iconic scenes that a lot of people know and recognize. I think every time that you go to Disney, it's a pretty memorable experience. I think that's partly Disney's goal, is to make it a memorable experience for you. But probably the best time that I've been is when my husband took me for my 30th birthday. And there were lots of wonderful, amazing things that happened during that trip, not just because of Disney, but because of my husband as well. I had surprise after surprise, the trip first off being a surprise, and then my family members showing up being a surprise. So that was one great part about it. Of course, at this point, I was not doing YouTube and not vlogging, so I didn't get to capture any of that on video for you, but possibly I could insert some pictures of that trip. If I can get those together for you, I will add them into this video a little bit. But I think some of the moments that stand out, obviously I already mentioned Be Our Guest, plus just the fact that when it is your birthday or when you're celebrating any special occasion, Disney seems to like to go that extra step of making it feel that much more special for you. So I wore a little button that said, "I'm celebrating my birthday," or "Happy Birthday." I can't remember exactly what it said, but every cast member that I came in contact with wished me a happy birthday. When I was at Hollywood Studios, they offered me free popcorn and said it was on Mickey Mouse. So just small little touches like that that make it extra special and memorable, that, as far as I've experienced, Disney is known for, and I don't know that anyone else does it as well as they do. Another memorable moment, but also embarrassing moment from that trip is when we went to the 50s Primetime Cafe, and of course they knew it was my birthday because I was wearing that pin. But for those of you who don't know, 50s Primetime Cafe treats you like you are living in the 1950s and they are your parent. So they're very big on manners and being proper, and they're not afraid to tell you somewhat sternly as though they were your parent. So at this particular restaurant, I was with my husband and my parents because they had come and surprised me. I don't know if it was that day, but they had come and surprised me on that trip, and we went to eat there. And we had Uncle Dale as our waiter, and he was a very good waiter, but he was your typical 1950s, I'm in charge, you better listen to me. So he told us to take our elbows off the table. My mom ordered a milkshake and he said that she better finish all of her dinner. Little things like that. But then I probably experienced the most embarrassing moment of my life. But since it was at Walt Disney World, it didn't matter as much as it would say where I live and I know people. Because I will warn you, if you don't like to be embarrassed, do not go there for your birthday because they stand you up in front of the entire restaurant and basically make a fool of you. So I would have to say there were many memorable moments from that trip, and it's hard to narrow it down to just one, but being someone who loves Disney and loves visiting, I think I have a lot of very wonderful moments and memories from there. That is a difficult question because when I think of Disney and the parks, I pretty much only think of Disney songs. So honestly, I can't really think of one that is non-Disney that would make me think of Disney World or the parks. So I don't have one for that one. The first time I was 3 years old, and we went as an entire family. My parents, brothers, and even my grandparents went along because they lived in Florida at the time. And being 3 years old, I don't remember a lot about that trip other than what was in pictures or people told me about, but that was the first time that I went. But the first time that I really remember, I was in 7th grade, so I'm trying to remember how old you would have been then. Probably about 10 or 11, I think. And that was just my brother and mom and I. And that was kind of a quick trip. We packed in as much as we could. And that's probably the trip that I remember more, even though I went for the first time at 3. I remember it most from that second trip and then all the trips that came after that. Well, it's obviously going to be a Disney princess, and I'm sure many of you think that I'm going to say Belle, and while that would be absolutely wonderful and I would love having her as a best friend, I think in terms of best friend status, I would lead more towards Anna from Frozen, only because she's so carefree and loves to have fun, a little bit of a klutz, which I could be at times, and also doesn't seem to really mind too much what people think of her. She's just her own person and again likes to have fun and live life, and I think it would be good for a little bit of that to rub off on me, and I think she would just be a fun and happy best friend to have around. That's difficult for me because I'm very much a hero girl. I root for the heroes. I always want them to win in Disney movies or non-Disney movies. And I've never honestly really sat down and thought about who my favorite villain would be. I'm trying to go through all the movies and think of all the villains. I mean, there's the standout, really well-known ones like the Evil Queen, Maleficent. There's Jafar, Scar. I don't know. I don't really have a favorite villain, but if I had to choose a favorite villain, I kind of am going to just go with what first popped into my mind, and I think it might be Ursula, and that's just because I do like the Little Mermaid, and I do, for some reason, like her as a villain, and I like her songs in that movie. And because even though Beauty and the Beast is my favorite movie, Gaston definitely wouldn't be my favorite villain. So I'm just going to go with Ursula. I really like a lot of Disney movies, and least favorite's going to be hard to come to mind because those aren't the ones that really pop into my head because I think more about favorites than I do least favorites. I'm going to have to probably say something older with animals, because the animal ones aren't always my favorite. I do love Finding Nemo and Finding Dory and all those. Lion King was never really a favorite. I wouldn't say it's a least favorite, but it definitely wasn't one of my favorites of all time. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy all of them for the most part. There's just ones that I might like less than others. So again, it's hard for me to pick a least favorite, but probably one of the more obscure ones that doesn't have great music. That is, geez, these questions for a Disney lover. You can't make us pick a favorite because we love a lot of it so much. But favorite, I love many of the songs. But I'm gonna take the easy road here and go with Belle from Beauty and the Beast, as well as Tale as Old as Time, because those ones always make me happy when I hear them. Tale as Old as Time can sometimes even make me cry. So I'm just gonna go with those, but just know that I love many Disney songs. I love having Disney sing-alongs with myself, and there you go. Well, I don't know that any of them have my actual personality, but as far as my dream personality, I may have to combine a couple of them. And I think that I would combine Belle, because she is strong and pretty sure of herself, and Anna, because she has that fun spirit and a bit of naiveness to her. And then I might throw in some of Ariel's personality as well, because she's a bit of a dreamer and kind of hopeful, so I think I'd take a few qualities from each of them. Well, I would probably have to go back and watch a lot of the Disney movies again in order to pick out a particular scene that I would want to change. But I cannot think of one that I would want to change because I've been pretty happy with how they've all turned out and how they've progressed and ended. So maybe I'll get back to you on that one after I rewatch some of them. But as of right now, I cannot think of a scene that I would change. And the final question for this Disney tag, although I think I should come up with my own because I could probably think of lots more questions to add, so maybe I'll do that at some other time. But the final question is, if you had to get stuck on any ride in any Disney park for more than 30 minutes, what would you want it to be? A ride that I would want to get stuck on. That is difficult because it can be a bit scary getting stuck on rides sometimes, because it has happened to me before. I want to say Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, only because I haven't been on it yet and I'm very intrigued by it. But it's also a roller coaster, or sort of a roller coaster, so that might not be a very good one to get stuck on, because I don't know what they do when roller coasters get stuck. But let's see, what else? For some reason, I'm only able to think of Magic Kingdom. I'm trying to think of other parks. Oh, one that might be fun to get stuck on. Depends depending how it goes, would be at Animal Kingdom, the safari ride, because although I don't really know how that would get stuck. I think the only way it would get stuck is if an animal stands in your way and then they have to wait till the animal moves before they can move on. But that might not be a bad one to get stuck on, because then at least you have the animals to look at and watch, and hopefully it wouldn't be too scary. So I'm gonna go with that one. But I hope that you enjoyed this Disney tag. I certainly enjoyed recording it for you, and I wish that there were more Disney themed videos out there that I could record, because I really enjoy them and love any excuse to get Disney-fied. But if you have any other Disney questions for me, leave them in the comments below, and I'll either try to answer them or maybe I'll hold them for a future Disney video. We'll see how that goes. But please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and if you love Disney, because I would greatly appreciate it, and I would love to know my fellow Disney lovers out there. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and as they would say in the Mickey Mouse Club, I'll see you real soon.